Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video in which we will find the equation of a line. So we know that almost all lines can have their equation written as y equals mx plus b, where m is the gradient and b is the y-intercept. So if I want to find the equation of a line, we're just going to find the gradient first, then find the y-intercept. The only time a line can't be written with its equation in this form is if it's a perfectly vertical line like x equals -4. That's kind of a pathological case, but you'll know if ever you have a vertical line, its equation looks like this. Alright, so how about the equation of a line passing through these 2 points? Well, this is not a vertical line. Its equation's y equals mx plus b. We're just going to find m and find b. So let's find m. So m, the gradient, remember, is change in y over change in x. So y value has changed by -4. We have subtracted -4 to go from 5 to 1. As for the x value, we've gone from -3 to 1. We've actually added 4. So the gradient here is change in y over change in x, which is -1. So step 1 is done. We found the gradient. So how do we find the y-intercept? Well, to find the y-intercept, follow this. We write our equation y equals mx plus b, and we substitute mx and y. So I'm going to substitute m for -1, which is what I just found, that the gradient's -1. Now to substitute x and y, we get it from one of the points. It doesn't matter which one. I'll just use this one because it has no negatives. So this point tells us when x equals 1, y equals 1. So in this equation, I'm going to substitute x equals 1. So it's m times x. And then I'm also going to substitute y equals 1. By doing this, I now have one equation with one variable b. This will allow us to solve for b. So I have 1 equals -1 plus b, add 1 to both sides, b is equal to 2. So the equation of the line required is y equals mx, -1 times x, plus the y-intercept. This equation satisfies both points. And so we can easily check our answer. All right, let's now look at parallel and perpendicular lines. So it turns out two lines are parallel if m1 equals m2. This is saying two lines are parallel if and only if they have the same gradient. On the other hand, two lines are perpendicular if and only if their gradients multiply to -1. An equivalent way of saying that is gradient of second line is -1 divided by gradient of the first line. That's very useful in finding the gradient of a perpendicular line. All right, let's look at an example. We're going to find the equation of the line perpendicular to this line that passes through the point 2, 8. So the first thing we need to do is find the gradient. Whenever we're finding the equation of a line, there are always two steps. We're going to find the gradient, and then we're going to find the y-intercept. The only thing that really differs between questions of this type is how you find m. We're going to find m slightly differently here than what we did on the previous slide. On the previous slide, we used the 2-point formula. We don't have 2 points here. Instead, we know that the lines are perpendicular. So let's find the gradient of this line first. This will be our m1 gradient of the first line. Okay, so to do that, we need y by itself. So what I'm going to do is subtract 5x from both sides. And then to get y by itself, I need to divide -3. So 15 divide -3, and then I need to divide 5x by -3. And of course, a negative divided by a negative becomes a positive. So the gradient of this line given, our first line, is 5/3. So we want a line perpendicular to this one. Well, if two lines are perpendicular, then the second gradient is going to be -1 divided by the first gradient. So the quick way to do -1 over a fraction is you flip the fraction and change its sign. So any line perpendicular to this one we'll have gradient negative 3 over 5. So that's step 1 done. I found m. Now I'm going to find b. I'm going to do this the same way I did on the previous slide. We are going to take our equation y equals mx plus b. We're going to substitute m for the gradient just found. So we just found that the gradient of this line has to be negative 3 over 5. And we substitute x and y from the point we're given. In this case, the point we're given was 2, 8. So x is 2, y is 8. Now I need to solve for b. So negative 3 over 5 times 2 is just negative 6 over 5. And now to get b by itself, I simply add 6 over 5 to both sides. I get 9.2 equals b. So the equation required is y equals mx plus b. Now note, if it said that the lines were parallel instead of perpendicular, I just would have used this gradient instead of this one, but we would have done it the exact same way. All right, thank you so much for tuning into this video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.